Good afternoon, and thanks for having us in. Court documents say a ride from a Lyft driver took a scary turn for a Sioux Falls woman when she requested a ride to a friend's house in Harrisburg early Sunday morning. When the driver showed up, the backseat was crowded, so he encouraged her to sit in the front. Court documents say he began telling her how pretty she was and that he wanted to make her his housewife. The documents go on to say he kept trying to touch her, so she called her friend, and that's when the driver pulled out a gun and put it to her ribs. During the investigation, authorities discovered the driver, Andrew Whiteeyes, is a convicted sex offender. In this latest case, he's charged with sexual contact without consent and kidnapping. We're going through the documents and looking into Whiteeyes' criminal history, and we'll have a full report for you later today here on KELOLAND News. The South Dakota Highway Patrol is investigating two deadly crashes in the southeastern part of our viewing area, both involving a semi. The first happened around 10 yesterday morning on Highway 81 north of Yankton. Authorities say a semi-tractor trailer was making a turn when an SUV ran into the back of the trailer. A 44-year-old woman in the SUV died. The semi-driver was not hurt. The second crash happened about an hour later on Highway 11 south of Alcester. In that crash, officials say a semi-tractor trailer went through a stop sign at an intersection with Highway 11 and collided with an SUV. An 81-year-old woman in the SUV died. The truck driver was not hurt. The Highway Patrol has released the names of some of the people involved in a deadly crash on I-90 near Kadoka on Monday. Authorities say the 11-year-old boy who died was from Fort Thompson. However, they have not released his name. A 7-year-old girl, as well as a 35-year-old Box Elder woman, have life-threatening injuries. A 39-year-old man has serious injuries but is expected to survive. Authorities say all of them were in an SUV when it was rear-ended by another car. The driver of the car had minor injuries. Turning to weather, it looks like a seasonable weekend ahead of us, right, Adam?
I am so happy to hear that. You would not believe it. Considering what we've had to deal with this week with the heat and humidity, we need a break. And we are thankfully going to get that at arguably the perfect time. I mean, what better time than the weekend? Enjoy it if you can, but if you're in Sioux Falls, for example, it's still a little on the humid side. 84 with a view from our Great Bear camera. There's the cathedral out there in the distance. West wind at 8 miles per hour. Meanwhile, in Huron, a little more cloud cover, but still not bad. 80, but notice the direction of that wind. It's out of the northwest at 13 miles per hour. That is going to help usher in a more comfortable and by night a cooler air mass. And you can kind of see the beginnings of that up toward Fargo and Bismarck at 77 and 71 respectively, 72 for Rapid City. Duluth also at 72, but they also have Lake Superior helping out in that regard. Compare that to the 84 in Minneapolis and 88 down toward Des Moines and Omaha. But as we zoom in, we do get that divide in South Dakota. South and east, we are in the 80s. North and west, 70s. And if you're in Spearfish, Custer, or Pine Ridge, the upper 60s as well. And that north wind is really helping bring in that more comfortable air mass. Notice the dew points in the 40s and 50s West River, but if you're East River, it's still humid, 60s and low 70s for that dew point temperature. And that, as a result, still makes it feel muggy out there, but not for much longer. Just keep that in mind if you're going to be out and about in southeastern KELOLAND. It's not going to be the most comfortable end of the week. 89, for example, in Sioux Falls today, as well as in Wagner. Mid to upper 80s, even a few low 90s, not out of the question. Then we get ready for low to mid 80s further north and east. That north wind really helping things out, and not to mention keeping things more comfortable a little bit earlier in the evening. Out west, we're going to be looking at 70s toward the Wyoming and Montana borders, even toward Martin and Faith. Low to mid 80s closer to the Missouri River Valley, but still overall a more comfortable afternoon on your hands out that way. But as I mentioned, the weekend is looking pretty nice, and even next week is looking good too. We'll talk about all of that coming up in your extended forecast.
Thank you, Adam. Another sign summer is winding down. The city of Sioux Falls has updated closure dates for 2 outdoor pools. Because of maintenance at Drake Springs, the aquatic facility will close earlier than planned, and Laurel Oaks Family Aquatic Center will stay open longer. Because of the change, the swimming gone to the dogs at Laurel Oak will now be held September 6th. Sioux Falls Parks and Recreation is offering the city's older population a free tour of its parks and trail system. This morning, the Senior Recreation Trail Tour made stops at Dunham, Legacy, and Family Parks in Sioux Falls. The golf cart tour is for anyone 55 or older who's not able to explore the Greenway Trail system on their own.
A lot of our seniors that take part in this program will oftentimes comment, oh, you know, this building is new, or I remember when this used to be here. So it's a lot of fun for both our staff and for the seniors because we get to learn a lot from each other.
We'll hear from a resident who took a ride through the park tonight on KELOLAND News. Your next opportunity to experience the Senior Recreation Trail Tour is September 20th and 21st at Paisley Park. Former President Donald Trump is fundraising off of his historic booking photo after surrendering yesterday to authorities in Atlanta. The former president and 18 others are charged with criminally conspiring to overturn Georgia's 2020 presidential election results. Natalie Brand reports from Washington.
It's former President Donald Trump's fourth criminal indictment, but his first time having a mugshot taken.
What has taken place here is a travesty of justice. We did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong.
He arrived at the Fulton County Jail in Atlanta Thursday to be booked on charges that he and 18 co-defendants schemed to reverse his 2020 election loss in Georgia.
We have every right, every single right, to challenge an election that we think is dishonest, that we think is very dishonest.
In an interview with Newsmax, the former president called his booking a terrible experience, but it hasn't kept him from selling mugshot merchandise on his campaign website. He also returned to X, formerly known as Twitter, for the first time since being banned in January 2021. He posted his booking photo, writing, quote, "I will never surrender our mission."
While Trump is fundraising off this latest indictment, he's also taking the Georgia charges very seriously. His legal team now includes Atlanta-based lawyer Stephen Sadow, who specializes in high-profile defense cases.
CBS News legal analyst Ricky Kleeman has tried cases alongside Sadow.
When he speaks, believe me, you turn and listen. In terms of strategy, he is also aggressive.
Overnight, former Justice Department official Jeffrey Clark was among those who turned themselves in ahead of a deadline today. The 19 co-defendants could be arraigned as soon as next month. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis has proposed a trial date on October 23rd, but for now that just applies to one defendant. Trump's legal team is opposed.